Hello and welcome to another video. Today with my PoE2 2, the third Edict starter build, which is based on the Bloodmage with the Blackflame Covenant keystone to turn flames purple. I do not have a nice clip to show you since I have not played it yet, but I do have a POB ready with an example tree and the basic outline of the build for you to enjoy. On the screen you will currently see the Blackflame Covenant keystone. In the notes you will also find the keystone written right here. It will change our fire damage to chaos damage without changing the fire spell tag on the skill gem to chaos. So fire levels will still apply to the skill, but everything that would have scaled fire damage instead of chaos damage is going to be useless for us. This means we need to stack chaos damage or other means to scale our damage. In this case, we will be utilizing stuff like Wither or Despair to reduce the percentage of their resistances and give them a debuff that increases the chaos damage they take. Now there have been quite a few changes which are quite interesting. In the patch notes they list as Living Orb and Solar Orb changing places. So you will now find a Solar Orb on the staff and Living Bomb will be a spell, a level 3 elemental skill gem. Living Bomb will now also generate a remnant, a fire infusion remnant. So those are just blobs you will find on the ground. You can walk over them and they will give you a buff, and you can use up this buff with specific skills to boost them, and Fireball is one of those spells. Now Fireball saw a massive increase to its base damage from 200 to 600 for the secondary projectiles. The base damage also saw a quite substantial boost to its damage, around 80%, and the secondary projectiles can also hit the same target again as the primary projectile, which makes it shotgun. So quite a potent spell here. And since we are converting this one to chaos damage, we will be utilizing Despair, which is also buffed 41 to 49% chaos resistance shred, so decreasing basically every resistance any enemy has. With a secondary weapon swap, which you can see here with the green color, we will improve the curse with magnitude or cast speed and effect of curses, which basically leads all the chaos rares any enemy has. Further boost the damage of this one with the Wither. Wither is going to increase the damage enemies take from chaos damage. Now it is much harder to apply now in this patch or 0.2. However, with a Solar Orb playstyle with a Withering Touch on it, we can circumvent this somehow a little bit. It's basically bonus damage, and we can also consume the Living Bomb with our Snap, which is now changed to be a little bit different. In the notes you will find right here. Well, I added it just now for the infusion generation. Snap, it will consume a Solar Orb or any orb or an Ignite, and will generate in this case a Remnant accordingly. With quality, it is possible to spawn even more. So we will have out of combat remnant generation. And the Bloodmage, which I will show you right now here, saw also some nice changes. The first one is this node here is now free. The percentage maximum life node is gone. However, it is now basically a free ascendancy point, and we can now, for example, take Vitality Siphon right from the get-go and sustain our life through this. Additionally, those two nodes saw a change. Gauss Spike is now the second node here, and Sunder the Flash is the first one. So we can, with just 2 additional ascendancy points, grab Sunder the Flash and increase the base hit chance, crit hit chance of our spells to 15. Fireball only has a 7% crit chance as a base, which is quite low for a spell. So this one is a perfect candidate for this one. And we additionally get Grasping Wounds and Crimson Power last to get even more health for free, basically. It's really, really potent, a very strong ascendancy now. Just a pleasure to build around. For the skill tree, I will be showing you this real quick because it will see quite a few changes for this one, especially in the northern part of the tree and in the southern part of the tree. However, I wanted to have at least a scaffold to build around because the Black Covenant keystone will be here. So I was planning around with the weapon swap points. Green means it will only activate on the staff with the Solar Orb. So when you cast Despair, so you will have increased cast speed, you will have increased curse duration, and so on and so forth. And you will drop stuff like projectile speed and projectile damage. And the main weapon will have the red nodes as well as the regular ones. So additional skill projectile chance. Fork chance right here. We'll grab a ton of critical strike chance around the skill tree, and that's about it. It's a very simple tree here. Just those nodes, 6% chance for spell skills to fire 2 additional projectiles. So nodes here, as well as here, here, and here, and you get 12% here. So it's around 40% chance to fire 2 additional projectiles, which helps and should help quite a lot, especially when playing the early game. Now you can see here 120 points. So what are you going to sacrifice? Those nodes are easy pickings here. So the crit nodes here you don't really need. You could also opt out of a few of those additional spell projectiles, especially later on when you don't need them anymore, and then invest in something else. Something for sustain, so something you want to beeline. It's going to be here the Black Covenant Stone, and then you path all the way to those nodes here because they give you percentage maximum life on kill, 1, 2, 3, and 4%. So you will sustain really nicely with those. Now for the skills, as said before, we have Solar Orb with Withering Touch. The support gems are missing currently because we have no information about those. So maybe there is some massive changes and I want to update this one later. This I will do 100% once I have the knowledge for this one. But for now, Withering Touch for the Solar Orb, so we generate constantly Wither on enemies. Then we have Living Bomb. For Living Bomb, we will have infusion support as well as additional damage support. So it hits harder and it generates ignites, which we can consume with our Snap. For Snap, I'm not entirely sure if I want to keep this one with the cast and crit, or if I want to have this one on a cooldown, maybe with Hourglass, so I can constantly, or sometimes use Snap to generate my infusions on demand. Flame Wall is just a support skill, so you throw this one out, shoot your fireballs through and get additional damage. On the weapon swap, we have Despair with Heightened Curse, Arcane Tempo, and Magnified Effect. So more area of effect, higher casting speed, and additional magnitude of the curse. We have Siphon Elements. Siphon Elements is a new Reservation Spirit cost gem, which is detailed here. When you freeze, shock, and ignite the target, you will generate an infusion of that specific element. This means shocking or freezing an enemy will only generate a cold or shock or lightning infusion, and it's not going to benefit us. We need to ignite targets for this one. At least that's how I understood this one. So we are not going to use other elements in our build because it's not needed. Well, we could technically throw in some kind of shock generator, but I'm not entirely sure how to fit this one in yet. So we will have to see. And this sums up the build starter. It's very simple. Once we have the passive skill tree and additional information about our support gems, I will updating this one. So probably shortly before the league starts. And then we will see how it goes throughout the first 24 hours with a first update after 1 day. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, or want to say something, improve possibly the build by your comment in some capacity, please do so, feel free. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and see you next time. Bye.